everyone, my name is Ashna and I'm the CEO of HubTask, a quant research platform for investment crowdfunding. We're back with another round of Beyond the Form C, where we talk with founders of companies raising crowdfunding rounds. Today, we're talking with Kiki and Corey of Switch, currently live on StartEngine. And to start, can you guys share a quick intro about yourself and Switch?
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Kiki. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Switch.
And I am Corey Staples, the COO and co-founder of Switch.
Corey and I have known each other since middle school, high school. So we're kind of like childhood friends or acquaintances. We developed a friendship once we started a little bit, once we started our business journey. How Switch came about. I moved to a new state, just started my career right out of college, and I decided to get in dating apps. And I downloaded like 2, 3, 4 dating apps, and I just did not like my experience on them. So I deleted them, and then I jumped on an audio platform app where you can instantly jump in chat rooms and talk with like-minded people. And I just love the immediacy of having an instant conversation and networking. And I thought, what better way to innovate the dating app space if you can instantly have a conversation with someone without superficially judging them on the front end, and save all that types of swiping on their pictures or whatever on the back end. And so I just told Corey about the idea. She saw the vision, and that's kind of how Switch came about. And we started in February of 2021.
Yeah, I would say I more so saw how much she was struggling on the current apps to find a date. So I was
Right.
like, let me help Kiki any way I can.
Yeah.
And now Switch is 2 years later up and running on the iOS App Store. So
That's amazing. What a nice story. So can you elaborate a little bit more about how your team's background aligns with the company's vision, and why should investors have confidence in your ability to execute the business plan?
Yeah, absolutely. I can start with, I was always in the communication realm. That's what I always studied. I have my bachelor's in communication media studies, and then my master's in integrated global communication. And so I always found myself drawn to how people are communicating, engaging with platforms of engagement and things of that nature. And so I'm a freelance television producer, so I'm always working with different groups of people, different content, and I just know how people engage and how important communication is, but from a voice perspective, and when it comes to storytelling and things of that nature. So I'll give Corey a chance to answer.
yeah, and similarly to Kiki, I also always kind of had a focus on the communications industry. So I got my bachelor's from the University of Florida in telecommunications, and I always wanted to have an emphasis on speaking with people. I always felt like I had a knack for human connection and human relation, and that's something that that gravitated me towards this industry specifically. Right now, I'm in sales, which kind of the whole foundation of sales is being able to connect with other people, understand their needs, and then being able to solve that. So I feel like that seamlessly has helped with the building and creation of Switch, just understanding people's needs, being able to solve it, and then being able to communicate those needs to the masses. So
that's what we put at the forefront of building our business, and that's why we're the perfect to solve the pain points of the dating app industry. We are consumers, and we're consumers of dating apps. And so with that being said, we saw the inconsistencies and the redundancies of how you're not getting to an in-person date or having or getting even to that conversation. And so we were able to, from a consumer perspective, break down why is it not working. And we realized it's because that communication, that conversation piece was missing, and therefore we put our focus on solving the pain point and not getting to the conversation and putting that to the forefront, and then everything else kind of followed into building a sustainable business model.
Amazing. So
Thank you.
success stories can be like especially powerful, especially when it comes with like a love story. So can you like share a notable success story, or someone who's found like love through the app?
a success story from not our personal success from as a business, but like on app.
Yeah, like any customer story or anyone who's used it.
Yeah, one of our advisors, Mark, he's one of our kind of strongest believers in Switch. He's on it very often, and he was scrolling through and found someone actually in a different state. And so that's something that we'd like to emphasize. The Switch doesn't just limit you to a certain kind of mileage. You're able to date across the nation. And he found someone in a different state, and they hit it off, and now he's planning on going to see her. So we're really excited about that kind of story that's going to come about, because I think that what makes us different and what's so special about us is just not limiting human connection in any way. So whether it be distance or, whether it just kind of be like getting past that superficial way of what people see and that's how they're judging them, we're kind of eliminating.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's such a cute story. So Switch has a provisional patent. So how does the patent provide a competitive advantage, and how does it safeguard the innovative approach that Switch has taken into the dating approach model or dating app model?
Yeah. Okay, so can you ask that one more time? I just want to make sure I'm answering that correctly.
Essentially, like, how does the patent provide you like a competitive edge with your dating approach?
Oh, absolutely. We like to say that Switch is the hybrid of innovation and nostalgia. And so, one of the ways that we have that competitive advantage within being provisionally patented with that is that our app it's all audio. You have to, in order to get access to someone's profile, you have to have a live audio conversation with that person. And only then that's when you would get access to that person's profile to make a decision. And so our competitive advantage is, like we like to say, we overhauled the market in the sense of where it's kind of hard for them to copy us. They would have to completely reconstruct their infrastructures. The competitors, they don't have an audio focused component. And so for them to really try to mimic us in any way, they would really have to change their entire business model.
Yeah, and to add to that, being that our provisional patent does inherently protect the functionality that is so different from these dating apps. So getting into the speed dating, that entire process that we have via the chat roulette and via our timeline is all protected within the functionality and design patent that we have pending right now.
Cool. Now, can you highlight some key achievements or growth metrics that you're particularly proud of? And this is for the business.
I mean, I'm proud that we got the app out on the App Store this past summer. I think when we first started designing Switch, it was really just a passion project that turned into like, no, we can really make this happen. So we found any way, we bootstrapped in to get the prototype, and we used the prototype to leverage the prototype to get investors. And then through that, that's how we were able to use that funding to get to go into development and to release on the App Store. So I think that would be our, at least I'd say that's would be our biggest achievement, like taking that idea, building every feature and page and design. And it used to be on a 40-page PowerPoint that we built out. We literally built out every screen ourselves and designed it in PowerPoint. And so to see it come from that to a prototype, use that prototype to get funding, and the funding to get us to development and overall on to the App Store, I think that's our biggest our piece. But I mean, I don't know if there's anything else.
No, I think that just coincides with what I feel like our biggest achievement is. And this might sound hokey, but I just think it's just relentlessness. So just being able to find a way to get it done at every stage, because going into this, Kiki and I were extremely naive. We didn't know the first thing about building an app, building a business, or, anything of the sort. And every single obstacle that's kind of presented itself, Kiki and I have found a way to overcome that.
Absolutely.
And that is something that, I don't know, a lot of founders I know struggle doing, and just being able to continue to push ourselves and continue to get it done regardless of the circumstance. Like Kiki mentioned, we were able to bootstrap and crowdfund and raise a private raise of $72,000 with just our closest friends by grinding every day on Zoom, pitching our concept and showing people, even without a product, that this is something valuable. And I think it's so special to see and have so much support from people that just see the entire vision and understand what we're doing, even before we had a product on the market. And I think that just kind of really speaks to what we're doing and ourselves and our relentlessness to just not give up on the greater vision of transforming online dating.
So my next question is, how do you balance short-term profitability with long-term sustainability?
So right now we don't have the revenue drivers within the app, but the short-term profitability will be, we have a integrated partnership model that's going to be able to give different brands and companies the opportunity to sponsor different conversation drivers and things within our app. And that's going to ultimately drive our profits, drive our revenue. And long-term, that creates a long-term and withstanding relationship with these different companies, because there's different ways on the back end that we want to integrate kind of getting people actually in-person date. And so having these long-term relationships with these different companies can help just transform dating as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to just help us sustain in this market, because we're doing everything so differently. And because our initiative is and focus is to really get people on these dates, we're going to be able to sustain, and that profitability from those companies and from that partnership model is just going to continue to be able to grow and expand.
And also sustain our user experience and maintain the users on the app. Because what Corey was talking about with the partnership, that model is seamlessly integrated into the user experience, which ultimately enhances their experience and their enjoyment on their live speed dates that they have on Switch. And so it also takes the focus off the consumer from a business perspective. Like, we don't put the pressure on them like we're trying to sell them something or sell them features. And the great thing is our users can get the experience organically without having that pressure of like us trying to like sell something down their throat. So I think that's the beauty of it as well. It's like we're solving pain points and they're getting a great experience and organically without us focusing on specifically monetizing off of them. And because we're putting that on the B2B model.
It's a unique approach. That. So looking forward, where do you envision Switch in the next 5 years? And how do you anticipate the platform influencing like the new way of forging relationships?
Okay, so in 5 years, ideally, I could see Switch being the number one dating app, taking over Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. I can see us, if we're not the number one, and we're in the top three, maybe the top two. So that's where I envision Switch. But also, I don't know. I think we really would. I think we're just innovating the market that other dating apps are going to try to, in some way or form, try to take a little bit of piece to put in their app a certain feature to keep and sustain their users that they currently have. Because I think Switch is just going to overtake the market. I think when you think about dating apps too, they launched in like 2012, 2014, and essentially the dating app market hasn't grown or been innovated since then. So I think our approach is just going to be like the Amazon. It's like, what was the world like when Amazon wasn't around, or like what was the world like when GPS system wasn't around? So I think it's going to provide that perspective of like, what was dating apps like before Switch was around, because they're literally are changing the game and they are the standard when it comes to dating online.
Yeah. And I think to add to that, kind of like outside of the business, like vision of it, and I don't know how measurable this is, but because our initiative really is to connect and form and have others form authentic relationships, I really see us transforming the way that humans connect in general. Right now, we kind of have all regressed to this wanting to text and be behind our screen and shoot a DM and not really have these social skills that I feel like we had in the past, where people were on the phone leaving voicemails, And so when we say we're that combination of nostalgia and innovation, we really think that that's just going to transform how people interact with each other in their day-to-day lives. We think we're going to improve social skills. We're going to improve the way people interact with one another. So I think that it's just going to, as a whole, improve society's way of communication. So I think there's just like an overarching thing here that we can just really drive authenticity and people finding their voice
in an innovative way.
In an innovative way.
Yeah.
Great. So my last two questions are more crowdfunding related. So what led you to choose a crowdfunding route instead of the traditional fundraising methods, and how do you believe it will benefit both your company and the investors who support you?
Yeah, I think kind of the second part of your question answered the first part, because it benefits both the people investing in us and ourselves. We have a big emphasis on community and our supporters, and we want to give them the opportunity to kind of succeed with us. The people who supported us from day one to seeing us build on everything and support us throughout that journey. We want to give them the opportunity to grow with us, and that's why crowdfunding was just such a route that was so appealing to us. And also one of our advisors has found immense success doing it, and kind of guided us and helped us figure out why this would be the best route for us as well.
Yeah.
I think it just really is able to bring the community of people together to get behind Switch, get behind our initiative, and just drive everything that we've been trying to do as a brand as a whole. So.
And I mean, and also traditionally, I don't think it worked I don't think it would work for us, and due to the type of application that we have. I think, well, we did get angel investors. We have 2 angel investors. We won 2 grants. We did a private round and we funder to do our family and friends round. So I think we know we're not ready for just yet for a VC to invest in us, and it's too early for us right now. But eventually we will be, and I think, like Corey said, our main focus is community and engagement, and it's just like that double-edged sword that we can get both and fundraise at the same time.
And when she says we're not ready for VC, it's just the fact that we don't want to sell ourselves too early. We want to have majority stake in our company right now. And we know that with a VC right now, they'll probably come in and try to take a large percent. And that's just not the stage that we're at right now.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you for leading on.
We're ready as founders. We can take on anything. Like we said, we overcome.
Yeah, please come with the check.
So my last question is, what's your plan for keeping investors and stakeholders informed about the company's progress, challenges, milestones?
Yeah, so we try to stay up to date on all of our social media channels, as well as we have a newsletter that goes out monthly just to keep the investors, like you said, up to date on all of our milestones, our traction, to keep that community, like we've been speaking about, keep that engagement and keep them informed, because we know a lot of the part of keeping the successful business is keeping your investors and everyone involved and engaged and informed in everything that's going on. So just continuing those mediums and those channels, and letting everyone know about all the successes. Plus, we want to tell you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's the first thing you would wake up on and inform everybody about, you know, any milestone that we've hit. So newsletters, social channels. I don't know if I missed anything, but
no, I mean, even in our personal social pages as well, like we make sure we stay on top of that. And honestly, Corey and I keep networking at the forefront of our approach when it comes to fundraising as well. So we're constantly on LinkedIn, setting up meetings, meeting new people. And we also leverage the current investors and family and friends that have invested in Switch thus far. We say, hey, like, do you have anyone that connects us through here? Our main focus is networking and learning as much as possible. And we know that through those and building connections with people, the money will come in through that way organically as well. So.
Great. That's all the questions I have. Thank you both for joining us today and being a part of it.
Of course,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Make the switch.
Make the switch.